So again, everybody, I can see 100 plus participants joining us today. Thank you so much for joining our webinar, Leveraging Social Innovation Platforms for Inclusive and Sustainable Local Development. And this is led by UNDP, the Asian Development Bank, and the Local Private Public Sector Alliance. And this will be a 75-minute webinar which brings together 4 cities implementing the social innovation platforms to share their experiences applying the SIP approach within local contexts, like the video you saw. Through local stories and practical insights, the session will highlight how SIP is reshaping local development practices, moving beyond traditional based solutions towards a more integrated, community-driven, and systems-oriented way of working. All right, so I'll give the floor to some opening remarks. So first up, we have Sikdam Akin, Director of Public Sector Management and Governance of ADB. Over to you, Sikdam.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to this webinar on leveraging social innovation platforms for inclusive and sustainable local development. On behalf of Asian Development Bank and our partners at the UNDP and Local Public Sector Alliance, I would like to thank all of you for taking the time to join us today. It's encouraging to see participants joining from different cities and countries across the region. As we move closer to 2030, one thing is clear that Asia and the Pacific region won't be able to achieve most of the SDG targets. Asia and the Pacific region is home to around 2/3 of world subnational governments with several sub-municipal bodies. The 2030 agenda recognizes that no single government or actor can achieve the scale and ambition of the SDGs, and it emphasizes the need for an inclusive and localized approach to the SDGs. Subnational governments, which constitute both provincial or state governments and local or city governments, play a critical role in meeting the SDGs, as more than 65% of the targets are linked to the work and mandates of subnational governments, such as providing affordable and quality public services, managing disasters, and responding to emergencies and relief support needs. Also, being closest to the local communities, subnational governments best understand their constituencies' needs and priorities and are well placed to design people-centered policies and tailored development interventions in line with the principle of leaving no one behind. This is why localizing the SDGs is not just a policy aspiration, but a practical development imperative. In this context, I'm pleased to highlight the collaboration between ADB and the United Nations Development Programme, formalized through our administrative arrangement signed in September 2024. Under this partnership, ADB is supporting UNDP to develop 3 subnational portfolios of integrated solutions in at least 2 developing member countries. The objective is simple but ambitious: to help local governments move from fragmented initiatives to coherent, investment-ready solutions aligned with SDG outcomes. What distinguishes this collaboration is its systems and portfolio-based approach. This allows us to address complexity head-on, identify leverage points that can drive sustained local impact. For ADB, this initiative is both a delivery mechanism and a learning platform. The subnational portfolios will strengthen local governance and service delivery, inform the design of future ADB operations in urban development, local economic development, municipal finance, and create a pipeline of bankable, SDG-aligned investments grounded in local realities. At the same time, the knowledge products and regional dissemination supported under this partnership will help scale good practices across our developing member countries. The challenges facing our cities and communities are complex, but they are not insurmountable. Through strong partnerships, systems thinking, and locally led solutions, we can accelerate SDG localization and deliver tangible results for people on the ground. I wish this seminar a productive exchange of ideas and look forward to the collaborations and solutions that will emerge from today's discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sigdem, for those opening remarks. And we have one more from UNDP. Good Trogaman, our manager for regional program and global policy network for UNDP Bangkok Regional Hub. Over to you, Gerd.
Dear representatives from all the cities present in this webinar, partners, colleagues, friends, good afternoon from Bangkok. It's a pleasure to welcome you also on behalf of UNDP to this important webinar on social innovation platforms. I'd like to start by welcoming really all our local government partners from Dangadi, from Kulutufushi, from Malai, and from Tiruchirappalli, as well as the local public sector alliance. Upfront, also a word of thanks and appreciation to our colleagues at ADB. So to you, Merhaba Chigdem, and to your colleague Rachana, thank you for the partnership. We've worked together since 2024 to introduce the social innovation platforms across Bangladesh, India, the Maldives, Nepal, and the Philippines. And we believe that this partnership really has been instrumental in supporting SDG localization across the region. Today's webinar really aims to facilitate a conversation on good practices and new ways of enhancing local governance to accelerate the SDGs and support sustainable and inclusive local development. As you said, Chikdem, we are well behind reaching the SDG targets globally, but also here in Asia and the Pacific. We've seen quite a lot of very important strides at national levels, but I think we also realize, and that's not just speaking to the audience, that's really also speaking from Global Fora, we realize that the ultimate test of delivery really sits at the subnational level. Local governments really influence the majority of the SDG targets. It's them who deliver essential services, who respond to climate change challenges, and who shape the everyday experience of their people. In this sense, the SDGs are not an abstract global commitment. They are realized locally through the quality of local governance. However, local governance systems operate within complex institutional realities, as we know. Decentralization has often expanded local responsibilities, but it has not always been matched with sufficient authority, sufficient resources, or coordination and then empowerment of people. This creates a gap between local implementation and global ambitions. The challenges we face today, from climate change to rapid urbanization and persistent inequalities, are dynamic and interconnected. None of them exist in isolation. This is where UNDP Social Innovation Platform really provides that added value. It is through the SIPs that we offer a bottom-up approach to facilitating inclusive and sustainable development, which puts communities at the very center of development. The SIPs help local governments move beyond one-off projects, single-point solutions, but move to a more systemic approach to build anticipatory, integrated, and people-centered solutions to local challenges. By strengthening governance capabilities such as deep listening, sense-making, co-creation, and portfolio design, the SIP helps local governments and communities to identify investment priorities and leverage social innovations and social partnerships. The SIP leverages real-time data alongside local wisdom, facilitating meaningful collaboration between citizens, between governments, and the private sector. Ultimately, the goal is to help shift development financing away from standalone interventions towards real systemic solutions. We will learn from our concrete examples present here with us today on how this works in practice. Partnerships really are the engine for this transformation. That's the partnership with you at the local governance level, but also the partnership at the, say, regional level with ADB that I referred to in the very beginning. We believe this partnership really is a prime example of our shared commitment to make change happen, to effectively accelerate sustainable and inclusive development. By working together, we are scaling proven people-centered solutions across diverse countries and contexts, and we are supporting local governments and local governance systems to be transparent, more accountable, and responsive to the needs and expectations of their citizens. Accelerating progress on the SDGs depends entirely on how well we empower and how well we enable local actors to lead. That is our shared challenge, and that is also our shared responsibility. With that in mind, and with another welcome to all of you, thank you for making time today. I look forward to interesting discussions in the course of this webinar. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a way to start. And the biggest question for us is, what is social innovation platforms and how do we do it? So I'll pass it over to Zhang Yi, our program analyst for UNDP.
Thank you, Kate. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll just take a few minutes to give an overview of the Social Innovation Platform, also known as the SIP. It is an initiative that UNDP has been implementing together with our partners, including national and subnational governments in the region and ADB, to support local development and accelerate SDG localization in Asia Pacific. Sorry. Okay. Here is a quick timeline of our journey implementing the Social Innovation Platform. We started with 3 countries in 2019, and since 2024, we have been working with ADB to support scaling this work in Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Nepal, and the Philippines. Now, let me take a step back to why we started this work on SIP. As mentioned in the opening remarks, the ultimate delivery of the SDGs lies at the local level. And back in 2018, here at UNDP Asia Pacific, we started asking how we can better support local governance in the region. And I wanted to use this photo to make the case. The challenges this neighborhood faces are clear: poverty, exposure to risks, environmental degradation, and many other invisible challenges. And none of these challenges stand alone. They are highly interconnected, dynamic, and are mutually reinforcing. And because of that, none of these challenges could be resolved by one project, one sector, or one institution alone. To transform it to a livable, resilient, and inclusive community, we'll need it's not about addressing one singular issue. It's about having a governance system that understands the complexity of the challenges, that brings resources, actors, and actions together that respond to these challenges in a systematic and coordinated way. In many cases, however, the governance systems are not set up to work like that. They face a lot of limitations, including financial constraints, inadequate data, and fragmented policy alignment, just to name a few. And with the SIP, what we're trying to do here is to shift how that works, not by adding another project to the table, but by changing the way we approach local governance, from identifying and framing challenges to designing solutions to delivering development outcomes. SIP tools help governments and communities to shift away from the limitations of traditional governance models, and essentially to move from siloed and top-down decision-making to bottom-up and inclusive local development planning, to move from limited participation to inclusive and meaningful co-creation, to move from one-off projects to integrated solutions that complement each other and deliver concrete, tangible, and sustainable outcomes for local communities. And ultimately, SIP offers a different paradigm to local development, which is driven by systems thinking, social innovation, and local action. How does it work in practice? What we have seen across the countries is that the SIP tools, as you can see here, systems mapping, deep listening, co-creation, and portfolio design, have helped drive a few important shifts. They've enhanced inclusion and participation of diverse voices across society, into local development planning. They've enhanced coordination and collaboration across sectors and across different levels of government, and they've supported a more enabling environment for SDG localization with integrated solutions designed as investment-ready portfolios that catalyze systemic and long-term impact at the local level. And at the heart of the SIP, it's about building a new set of governance capabilities into local systems to better understand the realities, the needs, to build trust among different stakeholders, to improve social cohesion, and to deliver long-lasting, sustainable impact over time for the communities. Over the past 6 years, we've worked across 8 countries. We've supported local governments and communities in addressing diverse challenges, from economic development to food system innovation to green and urban transformation. And today we'll hear from the city representatives who have been leading this work in their own context. I'll stop here and over to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chi, and I hope you learned more about SIP. I'll also be sending you the website link for SIP if you want to learn more and contact us. You can see my colleague's email over here. And yeah, the link is also here, but we'll put it on the chat. Thank you so much, Chi. And now we're going to go to the meat of it all, which is the presentation of key achievements, progress, and outcomes of the social innovation platforms. So how do we do it? And in the local government side, and how do we support cities through these local governments? So over to Rachana Shrestha, Senior Public Sector Specialist for ADB.
Thank you, Kate. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to be here. And yes, this partnership has been very interesting. And it's really, I'm very amazed with what we can do at the local level with not much of the financial support, but a lot of engagement, particularly from the UNDP side. So thank you so much for that. Our first, as Kate said, that we will be listening from the ground, actually, from the people who have been really doing an awesome job at the local level. So we will start from India. Our first speaker is Mr. L. Madhubalan. He's a city commissioner in Tiruchirappalli, India. Mr. Madhubalan is a 2018 batch officer of the Indian Administrative Service from Tamil Nadu cadre. He has secured All India rank 71 in the civil service examination, and he has worked through urban and rural local governments, strengthening institutional capacity and public service delivery in diverse administrative contexts, including grassroots governance across 2 districts. He has held the position of commissioner in places like Tiruchirappalli and Thoothukudi, where he oversaw municipal systems that cater to a combined population of more than 1 million people. His duties have included overseeing essential urban services like water supply, sanitation, solid waste management, and urban infrastructure, with a particular emphasis on enhancing last-mile service connectivity to provide fair access throughout wards, including underserved and outlying areas. His efforts have strengthened grievance redressal procedures that handle thousands of public petitions each year, improved response times, and improved municipal revenue administration, among others. He has promoted more inclusive, responsive, and sustainable urban governance that is in line with more general development aspirations by placing a strong emphasis on last-mile service delivery, data-driven decision-making, and operational efficiency. So thank you for the presentation today, Mr. Madhubalan. So over to you. Thank you so much.
I'm Dr. Elnilavan. I'm sharing this presentation on behalf of our Commissioner, sir. He's actually away on important personal obligation. And I've been part of this program since the beginning. So he said I'd be the right person to present here. And can we start?
Yeah, sure. Please do.
Yeah. The next slide, please. So Tiruchirappalli city has 1,000+ years of historical significance and is located in the center of the southern state of Tamil Nadu in India. It is an important city with religious significance as well. It's a tier 2 city. It is also the 4th largest by area and the 4th most populous city in Tamil Nadu, with 1.27 million population, which is spread across 5 zones and 65 wards. It has diverse communities with a mix of formal and informal areas, industries, services, and traditional livelihoods. We already have a web portal-based grievance redressal system, SCADA monitoring, and also an integrated command and control center in our city. Next slide, please. So the basic objective of this social innovation platform is to use technology to enhance citizen engagement and to develop a governance mechanism that supports inclusive participatory urban development planning based on citizen needs assessment and have sustainable development goals localization, especially gender equality, sustainable city, and strong institutions, and then also creating actionable citizen-led city projects through continuous citizen engagement. So next, please. We are creating a bilingual WhatsApp chatbot for grievance redressal using English and Tamil, which is the regional language, to engage with citizens from diverse groups and other investment-ready citizen projects in the city as well. I would like to share our experiences and learnings from these projects. So while we assess the current citizen engagement systems, that is either in person or telecalling or through website and through WhatsApp, we found that majority of the citizens have been using WhatsApp to reach out to us. So this bilingual WhatsApp chatbot will address real-time queries on services like water, sanitation, solid waste management, taxes, and other urban services. Also, we have been using deep listening methodology while engaging with various stakeholder groups in the grassroots levels to create a baseline assessment and to identify vulnerabilities in the city that impacts livability, safety, and inclusivity. So to quote a real-time example, we once received a complaint from a woman living in Ward 43 about non-lighting of a street light, raising safety concerns. And this made us to work on a street light monitoring mechanism from the ICCC, wherein right now, like if at all any complaint comes about a street light, it gets attended to it immediately by the concerned department. Similarly, in the state government of Tamil Nadu, we have a scheme wherein women and trans men or all ages can travel free of cost in the state-owned buses. And right now, anyone can raise a complaint to us if there is any deviation in timing, route. So we'll be able to notify the transport department to make it work on time. So this has helped us improving in the mobility of when it comes to women. This project also helped us to reach out to people with disability who are finding difficult to access through formal routes. For example, for someone can't come in person to give access to services in the corporation, can now use WhatsApp and get their services done and also get their grievances addressed from their own place. There are also instances where we have been alerted about injured stray animals, and we have accordingly intimated the Blue Cross Society and other local NGOs and saw to that the animals were given immediate treatment, and now we are also on the way of establishing sick animal centers in the city. So this social innovation platform approach actually has helped us to reach out and hear the voices that have been unheard for so long, and also get feedback from citizens continuously. In that way, it actually creates a trust and accountability and efficiency in the system. It also helps in capturing service gaps, demand patterns, and locations that in turn helps us in prioritizing our focus areas for a data-driven city planning. So this approach, as I mentioned earlier, it moves beyond one-off surveys to a permanent digital listening post, wherein continuous citizen engagement helps in prioritizing high-impact feasible projects that fulfill citizen needs, especially women-centric and inclusive planning that helps us to align with the sustainable development goals. So we expect SDG localization will happen through this SAP approach, basically the bottom-up approach, where we'll be listening to people from the grassroots level, and that will help us in enhancing the coordination amongst different departments, and it will bridge those departmental gaps and helps us to address these urban challenges effectively. Next slide, please. So our strengths and gaps. So our strength lies in, we have an existing grievance system wherein in-person and digital restoration mechanisms are in place already. And we have an ecosystem of civil society organizations and self-help group networks. The presence of universities and colleges also will help us in supporting the knowledge partnerships. And so to name a few gaps, actually it is basically the budget constraints that we've been having, and we're also working on improving our interagency coordinations. Next slide, please. So Trichabali Social Innovation Platform is a people-centric governance model that is scalable and replicable, in creating stronger institutions for citizens with communication systems having clear feedback loops, with inclusive service delivery for the city while having a gender responsive governance, and establishing Tiruchirappalli as a leader in participatory, sustainable development goal aligned urban governance. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very enlightening presentation. Now we will move on to our next country. We have with us Ms. Nahuza Hassan, Assistant Council Executive at Kulhud Hufusi City Council in Maldives, where Nahuja leads efforts in business development, research and statistics, as well as development planning and enhancing participatory local governance at the city level. Her work focuses on advancing strategic planning processes, establishing systems for local data collection, and analyzing and contributing to evidence-based policy making. She also advocates for decentralized governance and strengthening the role of the public in local decision-making to support more responsive, inclusive, and data-driven outcomes. In addition, Nahuja leads initiatives to support local entrepreneurship, develop local tourism, and enhance council revenue, fostering economic opportunities and economic well-being. So over to you, Nahuza. You have 6 minutes for the presentation. Thank you.
I am Nahuza, joining from the Kurdafushi City Council in the Maldives. I currently lead the team here who are working with UNDP on implementing social innovation platforms in our city. And first, I would like to sincerely thank UNDP for giving us this opportunity, not only to share our experience here today, but also for trusting Kurdafushi to pilot this initiative in the Maldives. I will start with a quick introduction to our city. Next slide, please. We are a small island city in the north of Maldives with a resident population of around 13,000 people, but we function as a regional hub serving nearly 70,000 people across the northern atolls. People travel to our city daily for healthcare, education, business, and other essential services. And from a governance perspective, we operate under a decentralized system with a mayor and 6 elected council members. Although we only officially became a city in May of 2021, we have experienced significant transformation in the last 5 years. Our leadership has been very strategic and result-oriented, focusing on strengthening governance systems, infrastructure, and service delivery. And we believe that a key part of this progress has been our commitment to actively involving our community in decision-making. And overall, we see Kurdafushi as a city with strong potential for growth, backed by strong political will that is needed to achieve that growth. And next slide, please. Our journey with social innovation platforms has been definitely been an opportunity for us to deepen our participatory approach to governance. The objective of the project here has been to better understand the community challenges using systems thinking and to co-create a portfolio of practical evidence-based solutions. And so far, we have completed several key phases, including the staff training, the initial data collection phase with extensive stakeholder consultations, and the sense-making phase where stakeholders came back together to interpret and validate the findings from phase 1 and to help us better understand how different challenges are interconnected. And that information has already been very useful as it is already informing policy shifts, particularly towards making our governance more consultative and more inclusive. And we are now moving into the co-creation phase starting on May 1st. And we are very excited to see how that process will unfold. Next slide. And through this process, we have seen several important outcomes already. First of all, we now have a much clearer understanding of service delivery gaps within the city. There are hundreds of gaps, concerns, challenges, and also quick solutions to some of the problems already proposed by the public, which we otherwise might not have. And secondly, the way that local councils here work is that after every local council election cycle, we are required to develop a 5-year strategic development plan, and that is what the council will implement over the next 5 years. And with SIP, we now have a very structured insights that will directly inform the upcoming 5-year plan, so that what we will do in the next 5 years will definitely reflect the real community needs. And we also believe that the repeated engagement throughout this process is helping build community trust. People are willing to keep coming back and to keep contributing to shape the future of our city. And internally, this has also helped our staff gain practical experience in systems thinking and participatory methods. We believe if we as staff understand and see the value in engaging with public, and if we know how to go about it as an institution, that will strengthen our capacity to address complex and cross-cutting challenges. And this process has also positioned us better to engage with development partners and attract support for future initiatives. And we have also been able to bring forward voices that are usually underrepresented, making our planning more inclusive. And we've made deliberate efforts to hear from women, from persons with disabilities, and youth, just to make sure that these voices are represented. And next slide, please. Even with these outcomes, at the same time, the process has also highlighted several challenges. For example, many community challenges are cross-sectoral, which will require multi-level coordination mechanisms to properly resolve. And these mechanisms are quite frankly still evolving here. So we foresee significant challenges in moving forward with the solutions that we identify. We also believe strongly in data-driven decision-making, and we think that perhaps integrating or supporting the qualitative data we gather with quantitative data could enhance this process. There's also the question of sustainability of participatory processes. Even if we have the know-how, maintaining this level of engagement or recreating it at different scales will require time, capacity, and dedicated resources, which are currently still limited. And there are also several issues stemming from the decentralization framework in our country. One key issue is the misalignment between local priorities and national level decision-making and the allocation of resources, which can limit how much we are able to act on local insights. And our financial constraints also remain a major barrier. As councils now operate within very tight budgets, even with the political will, we might not have the fiscal space to really translate the insights into action without additional support. And also, not all areas fall within the mandate of local governments in the Maldives, particularly sectors like health and education are still governed centrally, which limits our ability to fully respond despite fully understanding the challenges. And next slide, please. But SIP is definitely shaping out to be a very valuable experience for us, especially in strengthening our local governance capabilities and enhancing our approach to achieving sustainable local development. And we are still early in this journey, and even with the challenges, we are confident that this approach will lead to more inclusive and sustainable development outcomes for our city. And thank you very much for your time and for having us here today.
Thank you very much, Nauza. It's very interesting to listen to your presentation. So with that, we will now move to the next presentation. Our next presentation is from Nepal, and we have Mr. Ashok Awasthi, civil servant serving as an environment officer in Dangari, actually. So he is the chief of environment, drinking water, and sanitation management branch for Dangari sub-metropolitan city in Sudur Pashchim province in Nepal. Mr. Awasthi has been leading Dangari Dhanbari's transformation into a model city for waste management and the circular economy. Sorry, I have some technical issue here. All right, sorry about that. So he's been leading the transformation into a model city for waste management and the circular economy. Mr. Awasthi is the primary technical lead behind the Hamro Dhangadi Safa Dhangadi, that's Our Dhangadi Clean Dhangadi campaign. His work focuses on shifting the city from traditional waste dumping to a revenue-generating sustainability model. He frequently collaborates with international partners like the UNDP Nepal to integrate nature-based solutions and climate resilience into the city's urban planning through Green Transition Project as member of Green Transition Portfolio Team. Over to you, Mr. Awasthi.
So before starting my presentation, I will thanks to the UNDP. So they provide us the opportunity to share what we are doing to make our city clean, green, bright, and safe. After the federalism, our country is divided into 7 provinces, and the Dhangari city lies on the Sudurpashchim province, and which have the highest poverty rate among these all provinces. So Dhangari city is the one of which reason to seeking their economic opportunity and medical facility. So we have got immense pressure to manage, give them the services, and as well as manage the urban management also. So we got a lot of pressure. So we have collaborate with the different other partners and the UNDP to make our city to clean, bright, and safe. How to make this city to, we discuss about them. And as according to already mentioned that there is a in a SIP there is a sense making data collection system, and we are doing a lot of other things which are doing which need to do on a SIP. So we also go through that process, and we set up our objectives. Next slide, please. Where that our major objective is to make our city clean, green, safe, and a bright city. So this major object we set the 3 specific objects. Among that, waste circularity, which is one of the name, and another one is the natural based solution, and another one is the third one is the governance. And among is these 3 specific objective, we set up different activity which should be done as a by us and by through the UNDP also. And we found after doing this project, now we get some achievement. Next slide, please. From that achievement, we have seen that the public will be segregating the waste, and we have got 95% more waste will be segregated waste from the public, and that gives us green jobs creation also, and which now we are earning 7.2 million revenue from the waste to municipality. And we say in the same time we also passed the one act which will ban the single-use plastic in our city, and the other plastic we will be nearby future. We are planning to do make a product like a block, pellets, furniture through the upgrading our local infrastructure. We already forecast the machine through which we can upgrade this products. And over the in a natural based solution, we planted more than 25,000 trees through the inside the city through the citizen contribution, and through the other private partner contribution, and which will be that. And also at the same time, we have done the study on our city to find out how we have the pond which are traditionally in the past they are managing the flood, and they are running the ecosystems. But now the encroachment, these ponds are not seen on our city. So we revive this kind of the ponds which can mitigate the urban flooding and restoring the local ecosystem. As well as the governance part, we think that we will be go through the in a multi sector. That means that we are doing that plot management, also economic development, also through the that will be the done by through the bamboo nursery and the planting the bamboo through the river bank, and provide them the training on the different making bamboo product. Next slide, please. And one lesson known is that in a past we are going through the one sector, means that we are thinking only about the waste management, not thinking about how to make a green jobs, how to create jobs through the waste, and how to earn the revenue through this waste management, and linking the green, linking the different other sector in a waste sector. By this SIP or the portfolio management, we are linking the waste management with the other. This is the lesson learned to our municipality, and we are our activity also, thinking activity also with the change by this SIP through, and we are thinking that expanding our green skill, that positioning Dhangadi as a national pilot model by expanding green skill training to the other municipality and the project, and scaling the infrastructure, which will be the socially, economically, and sound, which gives us the climate response city, Dhangadi city. Next slide. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Awasthi. So it's very interesting to see. I'm from Nepal as well, so it's very interesting to see that how you have been using the nature-based solutions there. With that, we now have the last but not the least presentation from Philippines, and we have Mr. Neil T. Flores from Malaya Aklan, Philippines. He's the municipal government assistant. He works in the municipal government assistant department. He's a head there, and also he's the head of local economics development and investment promotion officer for Malaya Aklan. He's former city manager in the Republic of the Marshall Islands. Neil now leads critical local initiatives, including the Malaya Food Systems Innovation Program and the Composite Task Force on Price Monitoring. With over a decade of experience spanning international government operations, private banking, and municipal leadership, he specializes in leveraging financial strategy for economic development and community resilience. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Neil Flores, and I'm proud to present the Malay Food System Innovation Program, or the MFSIP. This program represents the transformative shift in how we approach food security and economic resilience in the municipality of Malay, home to the world-famous Boracay Island. Our goal is to move beyond traditional agricultural projects and instead to build a cohesive, technology-driven food system that bridges the gap between our local farmers and the massive demand of our tourism industry. The COVID-19 pandemic, excuse me, can you go back more? Okay. The COVID-19 pandemic was a wake-up call. Despite being a tourism powerhouse, Malay faced food shortages because we were overly dependent on external supplies. Our mainland farmers had been disconnected from Boracay market. They struggle with fragmented production, meaning they grow small amounts individually, and the total lack of data on what the hotels and restaurants actually need to buy. In partnership with UNDP, we launched the Malay Food System Innovation Program to reach a 10% local supply target by formalizing farmer-to-buyer linkages and using data to drive production. Our key achievements so far is we proved that the local sourcing works. We hit our moonshot 10% target for 3 key crops: cucumber, basil, and the water spinach. This isn't just a theory. Our pilot farmers saw real income increases, ranging from 3,000 to 20,000 pesos over the just 6 months. We also registered the Malay Food System Innovation Stakeholders Agriculture Cooperative with 20 founding members to give our farmers a formal seat at the table. And next slide, please. With the support of our UNDP and the Asian Development Bank in 2024, we are moving from a pilot in a full-scaling phase. Our farmers are now directly supplying market vendors and Boracay establishments. We are also institutionalizing this through the Farm in Malay, Serve in Boracay ordinance, which create a legal framework for local sourcing. We also promote this to Savor Malay, celebrating our unique Malayanon cuisine and local ingredients. And next slide, please. So the lesson learned, system problems need a system solution. Food security, farmers' livelihood, logistic, tourism, demand, and policy cannot be addressed in silos. Institutionalization enables scales. Embedding the work in policies, systems, and local institutions helps sustain progress beyond project support. Cooperatives help smallholders reach the market. Our cooperative shows that cooperative models can help farmers aggregate supplies and meet buyer standards. Next, please. Data builds trust and improve decisions. Transparent supply demand data help producers plan better and give buyers more confidence. The LGU plays a key role in aligning farmers, buyers, tourism actors, academia, and civil society. And demand exists, but reliability matters. Buyers are willing to source locally, but they need consistent volume, quality, price, and delivery. Next slide, please. Looking ahead from innovation to institutionalization, we scale early gains into a more ambitious and a measurable target for Boracay food demand. Advance the Farm in Malay, Serve in Boracay ordinance, and transition Malay food system innovation into a permanent program or office with dedicated staffing and budget. Also, invest in greenhouses, crop planning, cold chain, post-harvest system, and delivery solutions to improve supply reliability. Then expand partnership with hotels, restaurants, vendors, and other buyers through clearer agreements, standards, and incentives. We also align LGU services across production, logistics, market access, enterprise support, and cooperative development. And the last, we attract public, private, CSR, and donor support to scale farmers-led solutions, cooperative operations, and local food systems infrastructure. Next slide, please. And thank you for your time, and we believe the Malay model can serve also as a blueprint for other tourism-heavy municipalities here in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. With this, we complete our presentation from our speakers. Now we'll move to the moderated discussion and question and answer. So I have some questions for the speakers, and I'll start with Nahuza Hassan. So Nahuza, a question to you is, how have the SIP tools help your city understand and engage with communities and stakeholders?
Thank you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Like I mentioned in my presentation as well, we are still very early in our SIP journey, but even at this stage, I can confidently say that the impact of SIP has been quite significant here. From the tools introduced, the systems thinking approach, and the insights we have gathered have started to fundamentally reshape how Kurdufushi City Council understands and engages with its people. And I say that because the extensive consultations we have held so far allowed us to gain a very detailed, nuanced understanding of the realities faced by different segments of the population. We learned about their day-to-day challenges, their aspirations for the future of the city, and very importantly, their perceptions of how the city is governed. One key insight that came up consistently across all groups was that the issue wasn't necessarily dissatisfaction with the council's performance per se. Instead, what people pointed to was a gap in communication, in access to information, and opportunities for meaningful, inclusive participation. And many stakeholders highlighted that while initiatives and services do exist, they sometimes don't reach a majority of the public due to information gaps, in some cases misinformation or disinformation. And this has contributed to a sense of disconnect between the council and the community. And these findings have been quite transformative for us. They have shifted our understanding of the core issue from being purely about service delivery to also being about more open in our governance, communication, and trust building. So with that, we have recognized that strengthening transparency, improving access to information, and creating more structured avenues for public participation are crucial for more effective and inclusive governance. The SIP process has also informed the strategic direction at a very critical moment in time for us. The local council elections held on April 4th, where the incumbent mayor and his party actually retained the majority. One of the key pillars of their platform was called Empowered Citizenry, which was directly influenced by these insights. Some of the key components of this pillar included a commitment to institutionalize public consultation when implementing developmental projects, that matters of large public interest may be decided through public referendums, increasing financial transparency through the disclosure of information in more accessible formats, and also creating a public project monitoring board to strengthen accountability in our project implementation. There was also a strong focus on expanding our participatory budgeting process. So based on the SIP findings, there is now a very clear commitment to adopting more meaningful approaches to community engagement, ensuring that local decision-making is more participatory, that it is bridging the gap between the council and its people, and fostering a more open and responsive system of governance. And to get there, we are also strengthening the systems that support this shift. For example, our digital service portal is entering a new phase of development to expand our digital service catalog. Our website is under redevelopment to improve access to information. We are also working to strengthen our communication and public relations through expert support to ensure that we are not only doing the work, but also communicating it effectively and transparently to the public. We have launched our Ask Mayor program, where people can send in their most pressing questions and the mayor will directly answer them. This has been a direct response against misinformation. And there are also so many other lessons that we have learned through SIP. For example, public consultations used to be very linear and controlled in a way, because we would give them topics to talk about and we would only do it once. But with SIP, we understand the importance of deep listening, where we let the people talk about their challenges and opinions as freely as possible. We get more organic data to work with that way. And we are also seeing the importance of having an additional layer of sense making in the mix, so that we can better and more systematically understand the challenges, their roots, and how they are connected, and how we can try to tackle them more effectively. So yes, SIP is definitely influencing the way we engage with our community, so many different ways, and in so many different ways, and positively for sure. Thank you.
Very interesting. Yes, indeed. The disconnect feeling is not always with the bad quality of service, but also not knowing the communication gap. You highlighted it very well, and having some measures to address those. It's very, very impressive. So thank you, Nauza. That's very good. I actually have another question, but I just would like to inform everyone that if you have any questions, you can please, write it in the chat box. And after I ask all the speakers, I will be opening the floor. So please have your questions ready in the chat box. My next question is to Mr. Awasthi from Dangadi. So, Mr. Awasthi, if you could share with us how has been your experience of implementing this the green transition portfolio in Dangadi, in terms of how it has, you're adopting this portfolio approach has changed the way your city now designs and implements solutions to complex local challenges. So, based on your experience, if you can share with us like how it has changed your way of addressing or approaching city design and solution implementation.
Mention that as when we are doing the project, this green transition project, on a portfolio process, this shifts our traditional thinking that what we are doing on urban management, that is waste management as well as the unemployment, as well, and flooding and infrastructure related things. When we are doing these things, we are thinking only one specific particular things. But now when we are doing the infrastructure, then we think about the how to manage the heat here, how to how if there is a flooding or not, or how to this infrastructure will be the socially acceptable or the environmentally acceptable, and this portfolio approach will be the gives of the other dimension that that gives the infrastructure will be the sustainable or the economical feasible in the Dangadi, and say in the same time it will the portfolio approach will be the interconnected the different other sector also in when we are doing this project, and which will be the simultaneously gives the project will be the socially and environmentally accepted, and as well as the making the our city socially and environmentally benefited from this project, and in the same time. In the same time, this Dangadi city will be also the climate responsive. Having the climate responsive means that we are doing the things which will be the people-centered urban management, and as well as how to do inclusive governance and participant and resilient infrastructure through this portfolio management. And we are doing one things by gaining the different other benefits from this portfolio management. And it will be change our way to do project in a Dangadi sub-metropolitan city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Awasthi. I have a question to India, our Tiruchirappalli City Corporation. How is Trichy using technology to enhance community participation and advance data-driven decision making? How are you using technology basically to enhance your community participation?
Yes, ma'am. So in Tiruchirappalli city, we actually leveraging a bilingual citizen engagement WhatsApp chatbot. As I told my presentation, it's basically in both in English and in Tamil, the local language, so regional language. So this is the core technology that we have been using in this project. So also it's being available as a standalone app in WhatsApp, and also it is being embedded in the already available grievance portal that we have in the city. So we are also planning to incorporate the audio option for accessibility as well for low literacy users, and this helps us to get a continuous feedback. Was in basically, so it's not just one time where we go a survey and get the data, but then this will keep on give us continuous feedback loops by addressing the real time queries like what services can be obtained from where, and also it helps them to address their grievances right in there. And we have a feedback system where they can actually get back to us saying how was their grievance redressal, as in like was it to their satisfaction or was it just for done for the sake of being addressing. So this is basically the WhatsApp chatbot will complement to with what we already have as a citizen grievance mechanism, and this will give us real-time feedback basically, and then it will also replace the earlier grievance system, not replace completely, but then it will also replace the it will give us instant and transparent responses from the citizen, so which we can actually take into consideration when we are going for the next level, as in like when we are scaling it or we are doing our next project. So we'll obviously take these into account, and to so that will help us to uh, prioritize the areas and the specific problems to specific areas in respect to the wards, and then accordingly using that we'll be able to identify the service gaps, and then we'll also be able to find where exactly what is being the demand from the ground level. And so obviously this will help us in giving a data driven planning for the entire city. And also these this is actually the WhatsApp chat bot can also be scaled. So we are basically building it such a way that the we can scale it to other cities in the state. So, and coming to how this will help us in also going through the SDG alignment, because say we have tailored prompts with specific issues that relate to women, youth, and also some basically it helps us in fostering a trust and accountability, and it gives us an evidence based planning for us and to keep track of all the localization of our SDG targets. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So do you receive enough information through that chatbot? Are
Yes,
people
ma'am. Yes.
using it? Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My last question to Neil. So, I mean, you did talk about how to make it sustainable and effective over time, institutionalization you talked about. I'm actually interested to listen from you as to how have you been able to really sustainably link the farmers with the market? And how did you do that, linking farmers to the market? Because that was, in the video also we saw that that was one of the major challenges the farmers faced. So how did you do that? Whether you did that, linking farmers to the market, and how did you do that? We can see that it's done, but we would be I'd be keen to know, like, what are the interventions or what are the approaches you took to establish that linkage?
What we did and we keep on doing is that the local government, through our municipal agriculture's office, we help our farmers when they finish their harvest, or when they harvested their produce. Our office were the ones who collected their produce. We are the ones who deliver it to Katiklan, wherein there's a port there, and then we have also the boat to transfer it to Boracay, and from there they pick up the produce from the boat, and then we are the ones who deliver it directly to the hotels and the restaurants and those local vendors.
Okay, so you do that like a free of cost, you facilitate that. You do not charge the farmers, or?
Yes, we somewhat subsidize them. That's one of the help being given by the local government to our farmers.
Okay. And the market there, and I mean, like you have, it's growing, the market. They are more and more interested, or it's still like you need to do more or work more with the private sector to convince them to buy the produce.
Well, right now, we are going to every hotel or restaurant, and we communicate first to them. We try to ask them if we could set a meeting with their general manager and their purchaser, so that we can talk to them and market the Malay food system. So we these few months, I think we took 4 of the big resorts at Boracay. We're trying to market our produce, and they are having but they are getting this positive feedback. But of course, we always have a problem to those in terms of the sustainability on how we sustain our delivery to them, because somehow our farmers right now, as I mentioned, we just have 20 farmers in our cooperative, and Boracay is a big market. What we're trying to get previously is just 10% of the supplies Boracay needs. And with that, we were able to accomplish for 3 items, like water spinach, the cucumber, and basil. So basically, we achieved that goal. That's our moonshot goal, and basically we achieved that. But for other produce, we're still working on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, because it's a big market and there's a lot of opportunities. So I think through cooperative, there can be a lot of expansions that can be made and support the farmers. So I would be interested to see is how this can be further supported, or, you know, through other schemes. You may have your own local government funding to help, but then it should be done in a more strategic manner. So as you said, that is more sustainable, and the reach out can be greater because the market is there. I think the farmers need some support in, you know, increasing the produce and also having that regular connections with the market. So anyway, this is very interesting. Thank you, Neil. With that, we will open the floor. I already have got some questions. So there's a question from Aminath. The question is to Nahuza Hassan. She said, I'm Azima from Maldives. Could you share how the Kulutwasi City Council has used the SIP approach to include persons with disabilities in livelihoods, and whether local land or nearby uninhabited islands could further support these opportunities?
So far, like I've mentioned, we are very early in our SIP journey, and we have only completed the deep listening, the data collection, and the sense making phase, where we made like I said, a deliberate effort to include the persons with disability within our community. We reached out to them and made sure that at least a good amount of representation was there at our consultations. And now when we are moving on to the co-creation phase, we are scheduled to, we have scheduled 6 different co-creation workshops, and one of them is on healthy communities, where we will be focusing on health, well-being, strengthening the social support systems, healthcare access, and also support for persons with disabilities. And so that's where we will be discussing more about the challenges and also hopefully co-creating practical solutions for the current challenges that they face. That's all for now.
Then maybe I have a question to everyone. If there are no other questions from the from the floor, there is one more question I can ask is, what advice do you have or would you give to the city in the region that wants to adopt a similar approach but has very limited resources or capacity? Maybe we can start with Nahuza then. Nahuza, you can continue.
We also have very limited resources here, very limited staff at our city council as well. But we are working with UNDP Maldives, and the team has been very, very supportive, and they have provided us with the technical expertise, with the human resources, and everything that we needed to take this project forward. And I think the important point is to keep to be very open-minded, to be open to I guess adopting more participatory governance and more participatory approaches. I think some government institutions might hesitate. They might not even understand the value of participatory governance, but I think the important point is to be very open and to be very, I think, to be open to adopting these new approaches into our processes.
Thank you. Thank you, Nahuza. I know our time is we are really reaching, but then if you can just maybe Neil, would you like to also share your very interesting initiative that any suggestions you have, any advice you have for people who would like to do something similar? What is the most, if you can share like, or 2 or 3 most critical factors or things that they should keep in mind or that they should focus on in this kind of initiative?
I think foremost is the support of your local chief executive, because without his support, without this direction, just like other projects, after the initial budget or initial financing, and when it's used up, then it's somewhat like slowed down or it died naturally. But if you have the full support of your chief executives, they will find ways. They will look for other government agency or for like you at UNDP or at Asian Development Bank for the funding, or for any organization like at Boracay when we have a lot of big resort where they can support our farmers, or they can adapt our cooperative, or they can arrange it with those farmers that they will fund their planting of produce, and afterwards those produce will go directly to those resorts. So there will be a lot of ways if we are lacking in resources, but I think the leadership is there. I think those other organizational LGU can imitate or can copy our Malay food system.
Yeah, I think it is this concept of contract farming nowadays. It's getting some traction where the private sector can actually contract farming. So that way the farmers is already secured in terms of what to farm, and then the market is already secure, because these kind of things cannot be dependent on the external funding. Because I think you have a solution in house. It's like this is just like getting it started, but now I think there some facilitation would be required, and I think then that connection once established will be more stronger. I think so. Thank you so much, Neil. Ashok ji, would you like to share something, or Dr. Izzy Nilavan, would you like to share a very quick thoughts, or maybe we have a question? How can the indigenous peoples in the Philippines here at Davao City in the southeast part of Davao on upland areas food security and farm to market road, where to address for funding support. Maybe this is very interesting. I think, this, I actually particularly like this Malay food program initiative, because this is very applicable and relevant to many other local governments. So on this one, sorry, I am answering these questions because this is more about the funding. So I think, that maybe, we can learn from Malay food program. There can be some kind of peer learning and maybe funding. I'm not sure. I'm sure that there's a government funding also available, because our project on this is now completed. But then we will have to see if we have other further. We'd like to do this more in Philippines and other countries, but for this one, maybe there would be, if this is an interesting initiative, then that can be discussed with the government, I think, within the local government or even central government. I'm sure that, Agriculture Ministry and all, they have a lot of schemes and projects that this can be a part of that. That's my view. But then, Neil, do you have any other suggestions on the funding? This is more for funding. For Davao. Do you have anything to add, Neil? Because the question is where to address for funding support.
Well, foremost, I think the local government, they are in as this municipal agriculture's office, and they have the funding from the local government, and at the same time, they got a lot of support from the national government. Our Department of Agriculture, they have this technical support, there's financial support, they have financial grant, and everything. It's only matter of looking at the right direction or asking the right people,
I agree.
asking for the help that they can give. But actually, we already established the Malay Food System Cooperative, and right now just last week we received this grant of 2,500,000 from the Department of Agriculture. So 1 million of that will use it for purchase of the produce from the farmers, so that the farmers can receive their payment right away, not as in like when we sold it in the resort or in the restaurant, that we have terms. So we can use the terms, but we can pay the farmers as they come. So that's one way of looking for that.
Yeah, I think this is a good model, and if they can prepare a proposal of something like this, business model kind of cooperatives, is a good way to do. So thank you, Neil. So Mr. Awasthi, do you have any advice to other city councils of the city in the region that to adopt similar approach? A very quick one.
We need in a local government, we need a political commitment as well as the resources to draw up any kind of a project which provide the service to the local of the municipality. So we have got a political commitment also, and as you already mentioned, what are the resources? We always have resource constraint, and we set up our goals, what we can do on a achieve on this year in terms of education, in terms of in environment sector, in terms of in disaster management, in terms of in infrastructure management. So we are always open to collaborate with other as according to our objective. There is always a resource constraint, but we are doing on our way, and we always are open to all the other donor agencies and the collaborator private sector to collaborate with us to achieve to our goals.
Thank you, Asushi. Dr. Izinilaban, do you have anything to share?
Yeah. So to start with, basically, to get to the grassroots level and understanding the local socio-cultural dynamics is where the starting place, according to me, in this main innovation platform thing. So my advice would be like, that's how we started. So we went to the grassroots level, we started listening to people, and then we had collaborations with different civil society organizations, and then especially we had different voices that were actually unheard for a long time, and then that's where we started with. So I think that's my key point. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and the digital world now. So these things are very effective also. As you said, that to make it very evidence-based, and you have a lot of data to plan. So thank you so much. So with this, I hand it over to Kate, but I really would like to thank you, all the speakers, and also the audience, our participants, and for the questions. So, I actually found it very, very interesting. We have a very diverse set of initiatives across the regions, from digitalizations to the green, the nature-based solutions to agriculture. All that is very, very interesting. So with this, I will hand it over to Kate. So over to you, Kate.
Thank you so much, Rachana, also for that moderation. And to everybody that stayed with us, listen to the insights, thank you so much. Please, I think through your Zoom that you received the webinar, you can also reply and we will receive your questions, and we will also send a follow-up email acknowledging your participation to this webinar. So before we end, I'll hand it over to our Regional Governance Advisor for UNDP, Diana Torres, to give some closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Kate and Rachana and all the speakers from Malay to Trichy to Kulduhufushi to Dangari, Nepal as well, and of course, our partners in ADB. Thank you so much for today's session. I hope you feel as inspired as I am feeling right now. I think we had a very insightful session. And we heard something that we needed to hear in today's world, right? Is really how we continue driving development, inclusive and sustainable development using bottom-up approaches, and really ensuring that we enhance the capabilities of local governments to deliver and meet people's expectations and build trust again with the citizens, but also on how we support citizens as well, and private sector and communities to work in collaboration with local governments to identify solutions. So we have heard from different experiences on how these social innovation platforms are already providing new ways of working at local level, putting people and communities at the center of local development, either on the green transition and waste and circular economies, or driving local economic development planning, or driving the sustainable food system like in Malay. We heard that through the social innovation platforms, local governments are also shifting in the way they see their traditional role on service delivery to drive and become more open government, and a government that listens, that co-creates, and think better and connect better different levels of government and communities to deliver. And we truly believe that this is a new way. This is a very important way to drive transformation and to really deliver integrated results that deliver inclusive, sustainable, and resilient local development. So thank you for staying over 15 minutes from the initiated time that we gave to this webinar, but I think it was very useful. Please stay connected. If you want to learn more, reach out to us. We have a large program of local governance. We work in more than 30 countries across the Asia Pacific. So we have much more to share from across the region, and looking forward to engaging with some of you as we continue pushing for inclusive, sustainable local development through social innovation platforms. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much, everybody, our panelists, our moderator, and our opening remarks. And we'll keep in touch, and we'll send a follow-up email sharing our recording of the webinar and how we can keep engaged with everybody.